Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It is with Allah's degree and His strength that we are all gathered here, today for educational webinar. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. I am Sobia Muzaffar and I will be your host and moderator for today's session. The webinar we will be holding is called Retaining Student Motivation and Engagement in an Online Learning. And we have guests coming across from different countries like the Philippines, India, Pakistan, and also we have guests from Malaysia and our own student at DRB High-Tech University of Automotive Malaysia. I welcome all of you for coming in and bestowing us with your presence. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. To keep the quality of sound functional during the meeting, please mute yourself or your mic. If you want to turn on your camera, you can do so. If you have any question during the presentation, please type them into the chat box below and I will bring them up during the Q&A session at the very end. Now, I would like to call upon Mr. Akmal to please come on and recite a few of the Quranic verses to open this webinar with Allah's name and Mr. Akmal.
Okay, we start with Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Allahumma innaka akhlaqul azim. Innaka sami'ul alim. Innaka ghafurur rahim. Innaka rabbul arshil azim. Innaka barul jawadul karim. Allahumma ya karima ya rahim. Ya fa'alu lima yurid. Rabbana alayka tawakkalna wa ilaykal anab wa ilaykal masir. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Thank you, Akmal, for the Quranic citation. Now that we have started with Allah's name, I hope we will have a very engaging session today. Now, without further ado, we will turn our time to our guest speaker. Before that, I would like to mention, are you having one of those days where you wake up in the morning and you feel like you want to attend the class, don't want to do anything, don't want to do any assignment, or even if perhaps you're attending a class, but you're having a zone out, you're not really into the class. So are you having that lack of motivation and disengagement in your class? So if you're having and you're going through the same dilemma as me, then please join us and stay until the very end, because we're going to be having a very engaging session whereby we will be talking about a lot of different stuff, what causes lack of motivation and engagement in online learning, especially in the pandemic. So stay connected with us until the very end. Now, without any delay, I would like to introduce our guest speaker. Now, what's so special about our guest speaker is that she's not only an educationalist at a public university, University Technology Mara, but she's also an industrial trainer in language and literacy. And she has been affiliated with industries like aviation, broadcasting, journalism, customer service, and education industry to top it off. She has 11 years of experience, and so that has gone her with an expertise. Um, and now coming to her educational background, she has pursued her Bachelor of Human Sciences. She has pursued Bachelor in Human Sciences and English Language, Linguistics and Literature, and Master of Education, specifically in Management and Leadership from International Islamic University, Malaysia. Now, why we think our guest speaker is so special is because she possesses top skills in leadership and management. And as a business student, I can totally relate to her. And I'm excited because I want to learn a few things as to how I can get over my dilemmas. So let's welcome our guest speaker. So guest speaker, Wan Shasmin Sazali. I'll pass the mic to you.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. I'm so sorry for our technical issue. It has lasted for almost 15 minutes. I'm sure I have given you a lot of stress to start off our day for today. Okay, so today our day is about all of us. Yeah, so it's not about me. So I hope we can start afresh. Yeah, I hope you are breathing in and breathing out right now. Yeah, so let's breathe in together and breathe out. Okay, because right now today my task is to retain all of you. Yeah, and make sure you are motivated and engaged in online learning. So I hope you're not stressed out because of our technical issue just now. Okay, so I'm sure you have experienced that all the time during one of your sessions with your lecturers. Yeah, I'm sure your lecturer has experienced that, you have experienced it, and we are all stressed because one of those moments. So sorry, yeah, for that particular issue. So today my topic is on that, circulating that particular reason. Yeah, because of that particular issue, we are all stressed out. Why? Retaining our motivation and engagement is so important because we are so stressed. It has been almost 2 years now. Okay, so let's move on to the second slide. Okay, so do you know that actually even before COVID-19, yeah, during 2010, 40% to 80% online students drop out of online classes. So if you feel, okay, like if it's difficult right now, if you feel like you're giving up, if you feel like, oh my God, this is so difficult and I'm so disengaged, I feel like this is tough, you're not alone. So believe me, you are not alone, and you should pat yourself at the back for having been gone through all of that. Yeah, because yeah, you are strong, people. You are strong. Yeah, because 2010, 40% to 80% online students dropped out of online classes, and that was before COVID-19. And right now, after COVID-19, we don't have the figure just yet. So you should be very, very proud of yourself because you are right now the author of your story. You are resilient. Yeah, you are very strong. You are going through that particular experience and you are still standing strong. Yeah, so I hope you are able to maintain this particular stamina, and I am going to help you go through that. Yeah, so hopefully we are all going to stay strong because we are going through another semester soon. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so what am I going to talk to you about this particular session? So some of the aspects that I am going to cover today is higher education. Okay, I'm going to cover higher education. So teaching, training, and learning, because that's my forte. Yeah, retention. So how are we going to maintain our motivation, our engagement in this particular area in online learning? Okay, so let's do this together. All right, so next. So before we start, I just want us to all look at a little bit of history. Okay, I won't take long, just to let you all know a little bit, a brief history of distance learning. It has been going on for a long time. Actually, it is not just right now. So basically, why people, even our parents, our grandparents, have a very ironic and trust issue with distance learning, why they hate it so much, why they don't like or have trust issue with distance learning and technology, is because of their own experience. Okay, it started long time ago. The timeline of significant events dated back to 1724. Yeah, the earliest origin that we could date back was through mails and writing letters. So when back then, when people couldn't afford, yeah, going to face-to-face classes, they tried learning through letters and mails. Okay, so those were the earliest that we know of. Of course, if we learn history, we also know that we could learn from our fathers and prophets and things like that. So it started way back then, but this is what we have for now. Yeah, so 1920s, for example, there's radio broadcasting. All right, so people started learning content and learning things also from radio, transmit knowledge from miles away, and things didn't work out. So people were driven away because they prefer, maybe I should listen to radio instead, because I'm driven away whether to listen to the radio or to listen to this particular knowledge. Okay, so they are torn. So during 1920s, people are torn between two: music or knowledge. Okay, so they only have two choices and they were already torn. Imagine two choices and they were torn, and you right now have so many choices. So don't give yourself such a hard time. Okay, so now let's go on to 1940s. 1940s, the television revolution was here. So college education, yeah, for who wants it. So at that time, not everyone can afford going to university. So some people could only, for example, learn through education while they were working for someone else, for example. So perhaps they can just like sneak in from looking at the television or something like that. Okay, so college education for who wants it. So that was during 1940s, so television revolution. And even then they had trouble because it wasn't face-to-face and people couldn't feel that sense of belonging, you see. So that was 1940s. And then 1980s, computer and internet. So all of those problems with internet connection. So only those who had stable internet connection and only adults can manage to go through learning through distance, through a further distance. What I mean is, so, and as you know, even during 2010, people couldn't fully concentrate. So believe me, this has been a big problem since God knows when. So don't be so stressed out and thinking, oh my God, this is just me. I am such a loser. I am so weak. No, it's not you. Okay, so believe me, honey, it's not you. Okay, so let's continue. Next slide. So this is a widely debated topic, yeah. So individuals are actually motivated to move forward. Okay, so either we move forward or backward, and backward depending on the settings they are in. So we are actually motivated. Okay, so this is the word that we are looking for today, motivated. What are we inclined to? Okay, whether to move front or back depending on our environment. So what is the easiest for us at that particular time? What do we feel like doing? Okay, so I would like for you to share with me some of your experiences this particular semester. Okay, so as for me, for example, I've been trying a few different experiences. So for example, like first semester, I tried Microsoft Teams. It didn't work well with me for the first semester. So I changed to Google Classroom, and then I changed to some other platforms, and then I went back to Google Classroom. And then I used a few different platforms with my students, Telegram, WhatsApp, and then we had a few different activities to interact and engage. All right, and we encountered a few problems, and then how to motivate ourselves and things like that. So what kind of problems do you face? Could you share with me? Could you type in what are the things you feel? So for me, I experienced burnout. I felt so tired, okay, because I feel like I'm spending a lot of time on my computer, so many time on screen, and so I feel like I'm having burnout. So I had to call in a therapist for me and my students, and we just had to talk it out with my therapist, yeah, and we just had to make sure that we are mentally stable to go through the semester, because we felt like we are breaking, because it was so tiring for all of us mentally. So a few of my students, they felt like they couldn't continue. Okay, they felt like, okay, some of them came to me and said, okay, madam, I think I can't continue this semester. I want to drop. And sometimes they don't just say they want to drop, they say they don't want to further continue their degree. They say, I think I want to stop studying. So I think I said, perhaps you might just need some break or something like that. And then they said, no, I don't think the degree is for me. So things like that. So those are some problems students encountered, and those are the things that I will need to talk to them about, and we will have to figure out together and things like that. So tell me, what are your problems and challenges? Share with me. There are how many of you here today? 27 plus. So tell me what happened. How about you? What are the challenges you face? How do you feel? I feel true. Sometimes procrastination is like my worst enemy. So sometimes I will feel like, okay, there's another day. There's always another day for that. There's always tomorrow, So that's the biggest debated topic. Like, for example, I will always make sure. So for all my subjects, I currently am teaching 4 subjects last semester. Last semester, I taught 4 subjects. So every semester, there will be a few changes. So for last semester, I taught 4 subjects. So I will always make sure I clutter them all for my assignments. So, but the problem with my students is they will always send it in last minute. So I will always have to remind them, make sure not to submit last minute, because if you submit last minute, you are going to stack them together, you see, because I already make it nicely. I already plan it nicely for you. 1 week here, 1 week there. So if you do it just like it is, it's going to be nicely done. You see, you are going to have a rest here, rest there, but then they say, okay, madam, but we have so many other assignments. Okay, so I understand. So probably you have your own plannings and things like that, but you need to make sure you don't stack them all up together with other assignments, because later on, then you're going to have a huge trouble. Because once you stack them all, you are going to have a really, really tiring day. Okay, so any other problems? Let's move on to the next slide. I have something for you. Okay, so today I am going to, I want to interact more with you. I want to know this semester and for the next semester, what are you afraid of? Like, for example, what is your biggest fear? So, for example, my biggest fear for me is like probably another burnout. Okay, I'm afraid of another burnout. Okay, so for example, let me type it out. Like, I'm afraid of another burnout. I've never experienced this kind of burnout, I tell you. This is, I think, probably because I feel like it's a combination of all the past semesters all combined together, and then kaboom, like 2 years of burnout maybe. I don't know, but I think this is the biggest burnout I've ever experienced. So, but once I got through it, once I let it go, oh, thank God, alhamdulillah, I feel so much better now. But I'm definitely afraid of experiencing that kind of burnout. So my biggest fear is experiencing another burnout, or perhaps facing that kind of I feel like when I experience such thing, I feel like perhaps it's like failing, you know, like failing for my students. I feel like a failure if I feel like I'm not doing my best for my students, that kind of thing. So how about you? What do you feel? So some of you said that your fear is like failing, and then you're afraid if you can't keep your consistency to focus and attend those classes. Okay, completely understand. So right now, if you don't feel like sharing with me, it's okay, but I need you to do this for yourself. Okay, so try to have this with you. Okay, I completely understand. It's like, Miss Shazwin, who is this Miss Shazwin? I'm not going to share with her my biggest fear. Okay, so I completely understand. Okay, but I need you to understand yourself. Okay, it's very important for you to motivate yourself by understanding your biggest fear first. Okay, so what have you gone through this past semester? Okay, so what are your experiences? What were your worst traumas for the past semester? Okay, what have you gone through that you have gotten over, but something that you were in denial, you know? So some of those we don't know. So I need you to probably think about that and try to write it down or draw it, you know, try to envision this circle, and sometimes you can draw it. Just take a piece of paper somewhere. Okay, you can draw this circle. If you don't feel like writing, you can draw your biggest fear. Okay, so you can draw a picture, or you can draw a lot of pictures. What are those fears of yours? Okay, you if you don't feel like sharing it with me, just share it with yourself. But I need you, yeah, it's very important for you to figure out your fears. Okay, so that you can get over it. I hope that it will ease you for your next semester, so that you know your fears, so that you don't fall into that next semester. Okay, or it's easier for you to overcome. All right, so just let yourself know what are those things you are afraid of, because I'm going to prove to you that those challenges of yours, slowly but surely, you can definitely face it. Okay, so just write those down or draw those things. Yeah, so what are you afraid of? So for example, like I said just now, for me, facing another burnout. Okay, or if I'm not doing the best job, I will feel like a failure or a loser for my students or something like that. Okay, so those are the things I'm afraid of, and things like that. Okay, so perhaps you can draw it, okay, or share it with me after this, if you feel like sharing. Okay, so but you need to do this, yeah, try to do this. So write it down somewhere, paste it, or just keep it in your notebook or whatever. Okay, so do this, yeah. What are you afraid of? Okay, Are you all right? Still with me?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, so once you slowly recognize and realize what are those fears, okay, so you will know that in order for you to grow, okay, in order for you to move forward, okay, because hopefully we don't want to be moving backward, okay, because moving backward is not something that we do intentionally, but it's naturally, if you get what I mean. Okay, we don't intentionally do it, but naturally it just happened, probably due to problems like just now, you know, the technical issues, and then probably because of COVID-19 we see a lot of negativities and things like that. So some challenges will lead us to some backward movements. So this is why we need to keep moving forward. So how do we grow forward? So we need all these growth mindset statements for ourselves. So always remind ourselves that we always have to go for progress, not perfection. Okay, so just remind ourselves that, okay, for example, my name, yeah, Shazwin. Okay, Shazwin, this might take some time and effort. All right, so let's say, for example, I love teaching. Yeah, I love teaching, I love training. Okay, but let's say I'm marking. Okay, let's say, for example, I'm marking my students' essays and assignments. Oh, that might take some time. So I'll be like, okay, Shazwin, this might take some time and effort. Okay, so those are the things I will say to myself. Okay, so let's say there's some problems. For example, some of my students, let's say they encounter some really big family issues that I need to help them solve. So some things I haven't figured it out yet. You know, those kinds of things, like you don't know it, but you don't know it yet, but you will figure it out soon. Okay, so certain things you don't know yet, but it will come just in time, the right time, with the help of God, with the help of others, and things like that. Okay, so you need to know it's all about progress and not perfection. So these are important things that you need to remind yourself. Okay, so next we will move on to focus on yourself, not in the sense that you should be selfish, but sometimes during hard times like now, okay, COVID-19 for example, you need to make sure your cup is also filled. Okay, so you need to make sure, in order for you to help others, you need to help yourself. So you need to make sure that you remind yourself, okay, don't worry, okay, if you fail or if you fall down, okay, mistakes help me learn and grow. So don't compare, for example, oh my god, this semester I got a worse result than last semester. So for example, some students tell me, madam, I got a worse result than last semester. Last semester I got 3.7. This semester I got 3.4. My parents are going to kill me. They said online learning is easier because all I have to do is just sit in front of the computer and I should get 4 flats or something like that, you know. So, but now I'm getting worse, blah, 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 blah. So you have to know that mistakes help you learn and grow, and you have to learn how to cheer yourself up. Okay, so you need to figure out what you love to do. For example, listening to music, create new music, or painting, or whatever you can do at home. Okay, so whatever that you can do for now. Okay, that's what I mean. Yeah, so cheer yourself up when it gets hard. So I know sometimes you don't have any idea, like, oh my god, I'm stuck at home, I don't know what to do. Okay, so this is when you can get creative, like do something that you have never done before or things like that. Okay, so focus on yourself, and by this I mean don't be selfish. Okay, so don't misunderstand me. Okay, so next is of course support others. So don't forget other people who needs your help. Okay, perhaps your friends might be needing your help. So perhaps you might also need some other people's help. So try to seek other people's help and support others willingly. So Sometimes your friends might need your push. Okay, so you grow together. Like for example, in my class, there will be group work, teamwork, and then there will be like some free riders. So you need to make sure they are minimal of that. Okay, try not to be a free rider. Try not to give your friends a difficult time during this already difficult time. Okay, try not to be a free rider during this difficult time. Try to help them more than you usually do. So let's say if you are usually a free rider, so try to improve by 10% more. Okay, I'm not asking you to go suddenly 100%. Of course, that's not possible. So try slowly. Okay, so maybe you're a free rider. That means usually you contribute 0%. So try to contribute 5%. Try to contribute 10%, for example. Okay, so it's slowly you build yourself up. So it's all about you improving on your own rate. So it's not about suddenly, okay, I'm a free rider, and then suddenly it's me becoming the best in class. No, it's not about that. It's about you and just your progress. So let's say for now you're a free rider. So by next semester, I want you to contribute more. Okay, that means you learn something more. So online learning is actually about self-learning. It's actually preparing you more for your working industry, So actually, in a way, it is actually better for you. You are actually entrepreneurs, like future entrepreneurs. You can actually think about becoming your own boss, or you can actually become better employees if you think about it wisely, because you are actually very independent. Online learning is all about being independent. Your lecturers are only there to assist you because they are so far away. Online learning is all about being independent. They are actually there to assist you. They are not teaching you every single thing like they used to face. So you are actually, in a way, easier for you if you want to further your studies doing your master's or PhD. Believe me, later on, it will be so much more easier for you because you will see that it is so much more similar. Doing your master's and PhD is so much more similar now, like this. Your online learning is so much similar. Like working is like this. I remember a few years back, I think around 3 years back, I went to an interview. So during my interview, I asked my then future employer. So my future employer said, okay, Shazrin, so are you willing to work here full time? I said, yes, sure, why not? So I was just asking her, but is it okay if I could also work from home? And then she said, of course not. Everything must be done here in the office. And then I said, okay, so what if there's an emergency? I said. And then she said, emergency? What kind of emergency? Shazin, there's no such thing as an emergency that needs us to work from home. And then I said, oh, okay. And then and then at that time, of course, I said, oh, okay, because I also didn't think that there would be such thing as COVID-19. So I just said, okay. And then, so I wonder what that manager thinks of me now. Does she think I'm crazy for asking that question now? Because I wonder whether that company is closed now or things like that. Because honey, look at it now. Online learning and online working is valid. You have to think about that particular thing. So believe me, you are more than prepared for working from home, working or studying from home. So believe me, these are all preparing you for your future journey. So you are all ready. It's just that you cannot see it yet because it's all blank for now. Okay, but believe me, 5 years from now, if we are all still alive, inshallah, you will see and you'll be like, oh, thank God I went through that. I'm so much smarter now. You know, that kind of thing. Usually we will see it way later. Okay, so next, be conscious and present. So right now, don't think too long forward, okay, or too far back. So you just have to be conscious and present at this particular moment. Okay, so just enjoy this particular time. I mean, enjoy it like we can. Okay, I know it's not enjoyable. Okay, sometimes it's really stressful. Like just now, I was stressful. Believe me, I'm like, oh my god, I cannot go into Microsoft Teams. It's already 3 o'clock. So I was stressed. Believe me, I was. And this is not even my class. I'm like, oh wow, why? Okay, so but I need to be calm, okay, because I need to get things done, okay, and we need to get things done, so we need to be calm, okay, so just be present and get things done, okay, so just be conscious, be present, get things done, learn where we can, and then finish. So just remind yourself, I am on the right track. Okay, so I work on my dreams. Just make sure you settle what you need to settle, and then voila, done. Because some things you can't control and some things you can. So just focus on the things that you can control. Because like just now, some things you can't control, and then just things go haywire, you know. Whatever. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so now the key principles of online learning back during those days, okay, it's all about convenience. So why did, okay, I'm talking about the past, yeah, why did people choose online learning? People used to choose online learning because it was convenient, okay, you can learn from, let's say you are working part-time, okay, so you get to work part-time, you get to study part-time, okay, you can, so it's very convenient, it's flexible, so that means when you are working from home, okay, you're studying from somewhere else or different state, or maybe your university is so far away. So right now, if those things doesn't give you the same, what do we call, benefits, so it will impose a lot of challenges. So you will have to make sure these things, okay, will give you those same benefits, okay? So make sure you are giving these things to yourself. So what do I mean by this? So make sure you are giving these benefits to yourself. So make it convenient to yourself. That means don't have to be so hard on yourself. By this, I don't mean copying and pasting, okay? That is not learning, my dear. Copying and pasting, your lecturer can detect in 1 second. I'm your lecturer, and when I see my student copying and pasting, I straight away give you 0. That is not effort. There's like 0 effort there. No learning, no effort, no process of engagement or process of learning and enriching, nothing. That is not what we call learning. So what I mean by convenient is make it fun for you, easy for you. That means maybe you can, okay, today I feel like just learning from my phone. Today I feel like laying down. Today I feel like wearing my pajamas. Today I feel like hugging my cat while listening to my lecturer. Today I feel like drinking my coffee. You know, make it convenient to you in your way. Okay, whatever it is. Okay, flexible in a way that is flexible to you. Like my students, sometimes they're in the car, okay, going on, my mother, I need to send my mother to the hospital because she's getting her COVID-19 vaccine today, you know, that kind of thing. And then she's like in the car with her mother and things like that. So flexible. So I'm very flexible. So I don't mind. As long as you're in my class, I'm okay. So flexibility. All right. So make it flexible for you. As long as you're attending class, you get what I'm teaching, you understand. So do you, I ask my student, do you understand what I'm teaching? Because you might be distracted, you know, your mom is beside you, and then there's the road and everything. And then I ask the student questions, and then they can answer. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't mind. I'm flexible, you're flexible, so it's all about the learning process. So yeah, make it flexible and we're all done. So that is the key principle of online learning. So you make it flexible for you. Okay, so make it fun. It's supposed to be that way, because if it's not, then it will be hard for you. So right now, it's all about you. You need to put yourself first, because if you don't, then you are going to suffer. So make it affordable. So try to do more research, which is the best like internet and the cheapest but worthy, you know, like for your particular area. You know, some area they are different, you know, internet providers, you know, for your particular area. So you need to do all those research, like which is worth it and whatnot, affordability. Okay, so know your thing, do your research. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Key principles. Next slide. Next slide, my dear.
It's just wait a few minutes.
Pardon?
It's the laptop is jammed.
Oh.
Okay, we can have some engaging session.
Okay, let me see. Give me a second. Yeah. So, okay, so I will tell you all about online classes. So the elements and aspects of online classes basically is actually very, very self-directed. You direct your own class. So when you don't feel like it, yeah, so you need to know what your course is all about. So usually you know what your course you are, what the course you are taking. Okay, so for example, what are your majors, what are your minors? You have your seniors, right? So you will ask for them some tips. Okay, your lecturers. Okay, what are their, for example, what do they like when it comes to for example, topics, you know, and then let's say, for example, the topics that they usually ask. You know, certain lecturers, they have favorite topics to ask during exams. So you need to ask these kind of questions to your seniors, or sometimes to the lecturers themselves. They will answer if you have that particular effort to ask them, like, madam, what are the like questions they usually ask for this. What are the important topics that we need to, you know, those kinds of things. So you need to have that particular extra effort to just ask for those kinds of things. So sometimes if you don't have effort, things are not going to work out for you. So you have to try, okay, to go to that extra length. So that's why I say study smart. You don't usually have to study hard. Okay, so try to look at the overall course design. Usually the first 2 classes is the most important class. I don't know why usually students love to miss the 2 first classes. The first 2 classes is the most important class, because you know what your teacher or lecturer is going to teach for the whole semester. You know what are those assessments you are going to sit, how many percentage you have, those strategies, how you are going to have and score every single thing. So these accessibility resources you have, you can Google them up. If you miss some of those classes, you can refresh your memory by Googling them. Everything is like one click away, one finger away. If you don't understand it, there's YouTube channels, videos. So don't worry about all of those things. Okay, so try not to stress out. It's all about our mental state right now. Our mental state is the most important thing right now. Okay, so we need to make sure we have the strongest support system. Okay, so next slide is all about our motivation list. So during online learning, where should our focus be? Okay, our efforts. Number one, I'm going to tell you our focus should always be on our connection. So what do I mean by connection? Connection is connection with our colleagues, that means our classmates. Okay, that means those who will remind us what to do. Okay, those who will work with us, okay, to reach our aim and target, our lecturer, okay, and then also your internet connection, of course, yeah. Okay, so if you don't have good internet connection, please tell your lecturer. They are very understanding people. It's just that sometimes they don't know that you have bad internet connection. If they don't know, of course, they will be thinking you are missing class because you are just gone. So if you have those kinds of problems, do tell your lecturers. Okay. Next is, of course, urgency. Like I said, please do not procrastinate. Unless, of course, you are tired mentally, then give yourself a break. You deserve that break because you've been working hard. But if not, try to settle your list as fast as possible, whatever you can finish off. Okay, so you need to have that urgency so that you don't stack all your work. And then the more work you have, the less motivation you will have. Believe me, been there, done that. The more work you have, you will have like less motivation. Oh, I don't feel like doing all of this. So the more you see that, okay, I'm done with this, I'm done with this, I'm done with this, so you will be more motivated. Okay, I feel like doing this and finishing it off. So you will be more motivated. Okay, so after this, I will be explaining the difference between motivation and engagement. Okay, so first we will talk about purpose and power. Yeah, so when you have purpose, when you know, all right, so for example, I have purpose, I have reason for this. Yeah, why do I want to do this? Okay, let's say for example, I want to get a really the job that I love, for example. So I want to be an educator at this place. So that's my purpose. So the power is how I feel myself. So for example, I reward myself every time I get something done. So for example, let's say, even though you have a lot of food at home that you can eat, maybe you can only give yourself chocolates every time after you finished one class. You know, you can eat, okay, one piece of chocolate every time after class. After one class, one chocolate, one chocolate, one chocolate, chocolate. So that's how you reward yourself and you get more motivated. You know, that kind of thing. So next is, next slide.
Okay, sister, where do you want us to land?
The next slide after that.
Okay, the next slide.
Yes, this one. Okay.
Sorry for the interruption.
It's okay. Community engagement. So you need to be engaged, especially with your lecturer. Your lecturer is very important, because when your lecturer doesn't feel motivated to teach you and they feel like they're teaching the wall, then you will get lower marks. They will teach you worse. So it doesn't help. You have to bond with your lecturer. You can't make your lecturer feel like they're talking to the wall. So you have to engage with your lecturer. Believe me, your lecturers will always remember those who engage with them most. So let's say, for example, I have students who need one more mark to get an A or one more mark to get a B. So I see, oh, they're very engaged in class. I will definitely get that 1 mark extra for them. Okay, 1 mark I will give them that 1 mark extra for them because they're very engaged. So you have to be personalized in a sense that you have to keep with your own principle. Personalize your motivation. Like, what are you motivated to do? Focused on it. Okay, so that's why you have to have your passion when you choose your particular course. So you have to be passionate about it. So these are what you have to focus on your efforts. So of course, at that time, some days, okay, even let's say, even if you're passionate about writing, some days you don't feel like writing. So maybe, okay, today I just read. Today I will just highlight some important notes. Today I will just stick some sticky notes where I should be jotting down some things. At least there's progress. So remember what I say, when you don't feel like doing a lot of things, just do little things that you can see progress, so that there's a little bit of motivation building there, because we are humans. We need to build our own motivation. It's very, very important. Okay, so it's very, very important. Next slide. Okay, so before I share with you the difference between motivation and engagement, I want to share some smart learning techniques for students and lecturers to save time. Because I noticed these past few semesters, in order for me to save more time, because usually I remember during my first semester, my first online learning semester was the worst semester ever, because I will spend more time than I needed online. So, and then I got smarter, so I tried to change all my strategies, and then it got better and better and better each semester. So these are some of the tips and tricks that I would like to share with you. So first of all is the learning channel. So with me and my students, sometimes we change. So for example, for my classes, one subject will always, we always have 2 hours. One subject, I will meet my students for 2 hours. So it's never going to be 2 hours with me. With me, it's always going to be 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. So what do we do during that 1 hour and 1 hour and a half? 1 hour, I will always give them something. So let's say, for example, today I feel like asking them to go through YouTube. So I will ask them to check out some videos and maybe correct those videos, and then list out some of the things that they could improve on and things like that, blah, 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 blah. So if today I feel like, okay, we've had enough of listening, maybe we want to focus on writing, so we will go on to LinkedIn or things like that, or focus on another blog or something. And then let's say today we are focusing on reading a short story. So I will try to find a really short story, and then I don't want them to stress out. So it's not going to be a really long story. So it might be just 1.5 pages long, but I want to focus more on us building as a team. So it will be us reading for 30 minutes. Okay, so I will just meet them, talk to them on WhatsApp. Okay, I want you to read this for 30 minutes. Okay, and then we will meet on Google Classroom, that means Google Meet, and then we will discuss everything for 1 hour, and then just talk blah 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 about the story and what we learned from the story, and how do you want the story to end if you were the writer, blah blah blah, and then I want them to act it out, blah 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 blah, and stuff like that. So it's more of a like engagement thing, you see. So it's more of an act, more of building trust, more of us meeting together, and then start to de-stress because we were all stressed. So those kinds of things. So you need to know your learning channel. That means you have to change. Sometimes it's visual, you have to see. Okay, that means you meet them, you see them. Sometimes you just listen. So sometimes I will record myself and then I will just share on Telegram or on what do we call that, WhatsApp. So they will listen, and then I will ask them, okay, which part don't you understand? So they will tell me, okay, madam, I don't understand this part during the minute of 9 point blah blah blah. So and then I will repeat. Okay, so this is what I mean by blah 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 blah. So it's auditory. So now they're listening like a podcast. So then we will change, because sometimes we get bored easily, right? We are humans, so we have to change. So sometimes it's visual, so sometimes it's me giving short, what do we call that, Instagram videos, like just for 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes, because I know if I give more than 5 minutes videos, my student will be like, oh, madam, I'm sleepy. I'm like, oh, okay. So these are the things that you have to be smart about. So you have to change those channels. Like, okay, today we are going to use this platform and then that platform, but those platforms must be ones that are already present. That means I don't use new platforms. That means if I use new platforms, I have to create accounts, new accounts. So that will be wasting my time. So I don't want to waste my time. So I will use accounts that are already present. So blogs, okay, blogs that are already present, other people's blogs. Okay, so we will be checking other people's grammar mistakes. We will be checking other things like that. Okay, so yes. So we will be checking other people's work. We will be implementing like critical thinking. Okay, so what kind of moral values do you get from this? What kind of ethics do you get from this? Blah blah blah. So let's say my topic for today is, for example, I'm teaching engineering students. So I will invite people from, let's say, from the aviation industry, and I'll be asking them to ask questions. Okay, ask questions that I can't be teaching you for today. So they'll be asking questions, real world problems, and then they'll be applying things and things like that. So these are what we call learning channels, so smart learning techniques, those that we change every single meeting sessions. Okay, so this is learning channel I'm talking about. Yeah, so next is study guides and outlines. So like I said, the first 2 classes is the most important. Okay, don't miss your first 2 classes. If you accidentally missed it, maybe because you enrolled late, okay, or maybe because you changed classes last minute, ask your friends or your lecturer for that outline. You know, your course outline, that's the most important thing actually. Yeah, because it says there, what are the assessments about? What are the courses about? What is the curriculum about? So that if you miss those classes, you know what other things you need to know. So you will check those information that you need to find online. So if you missed it, it's okay. I can look for it myself. Whether you look for it yourself, God knows, huh? Okay, so I hope you do. Okay, I have faith in you. All right, so that is what study guide and outline is all about. Okay, always look through it. That's the most important thing. What's your lecturers spend a lot of time, okay, preparing those study guides and outlines, so you better make full use of it. Okay, scheming and scanning is very important as well. Okay, this saves a lot of time. Your lecturers will teach you how to do this usually during your English classes. So it saves a lot of time. You just scheme because you don't want to be wasting your time. Let's say, especially those science subjects, you don't want to read everything. Whoa, that's going to take you 2-3 hours if you read every single thing. So you need to save your time. You want to stay sane during these crazy times. Okay, so I need you to take notes. Let's say if you're the type who likes colors, so try to highlight with colors. If you're the type who likes to listen to podcasts, try to record yourself only the ones that is important. So the ones that is important, you record and then pause. So when when exam is coming, so you don't have to look at your books again. It's a waste of time. So you just re-listen to what you have recorded. Okay, the important parts, not everything. You'll be wasting your 4 hours of break. The one that you can play games and sleep, honey, you need to sleep. So just listen to that podcast you made or your lecturers made, or that skimming and scanning you did with your highlighters and everything. Okay, so these are really good notes and revising strategies that you can do for your exams, quizzes, and tests. So that's what I usually did during my study times and also my masters and hopefully during my PhD later. Okay, so moving on, power of sleep. Oh my God, this is what I was lacking. Yeah, power of sleep. Try learning before going to sleep and have naps in between. Okay, so don't forget that. Okay, let's move on. Finished. Okay, so always make sure you have fun. Okay, everything about learning is about fun. If you don't have fun, believe me, you're going to suffer and your brain don't like it. You're not going to understand and you're not going to remember. You're not going to comprehend. So always link your brain with fun when it comes to content. So just like how you look for games and content, try to tell your brain, okay, you know what, this is something fun. Okay, even though sometimes you feel like, oh my God, this is not fun, but try to lie to your brain that it's something fun. Believe me, sometimes it works. It really does. Try it. When you keep saying to yourself, it's fun, it's really going to go that road. It's going to be fun, and sometimes you're going to love it. End up like me. I'm like, oh my God, I love education now. Okay, moving on. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you the difference between motivation and engagement. Okay, so engagement leads to motivation. So the most important thing is how do you want to have motivation? So before you can have motivation, you need to ensure that you have engagement. So according to these 3 fellows, Fredericks, Blumenfeld, and Paris, yeah, there are 3 types of engagement, especially when it comes to students: behavioral, emotional, and cognitive. So behavioral is how do you feel about and involve yourself in academic activities. You know, when your lecturers and your friends, okay, when you study, when you have class, how do you feel? When you come into class, when you come and see me today, how do you feel? Do you feel like you're being forced? No. Oh my God, I have to come to this event. So if you feel that way, honey, that's a little bit negative. Okay, so that is not being engaged. So you need to feel a little bit positive. If you feel engaged, if you get yourself involved, then behavioral, tick. Emotional, you need to have a good relationship with your educators. That means you have to ask them questions, but it doesn't work one way. Your educators have to do that with you too. So try to be nice to them and make sure they are being nice to you too. Try to make sure your educators ask you those kinds of questions too, like how are you today? How are you feeling? With your classmates as well. Okay, academics means your management. Okay, if you see them, okay, but if you don't see them, it's okay. Okay, cognitive means your willingness to understand ideas. That means, are you willing to go that extra mile to do that thing I told you to do, like recording yourself, highlighting certain things to understand the things your teachers and lecturers teach you. All those ideas and skills, those are cognitive thinking. Okay, so these are all engaging things, yeah, engagement that will lead to motivation. These are very important things, but it will change, yeah, the percentage will change. So it's normal. Sometimes we don't feel like interacting. Of course, some days you feel like, especially if you are, for example, if you don't feel like, for example, I'm an introvert, okay? So let's say I don't feel like talking much with my lecturers. So I don't feel like talking a lot to my lecturers. So let's say emotional today is 40%. So try to make sure your behavioral is more today. So try to feel more happy and positive about what you are learning. Okay, try to have that perhaps at 30%. Okay, cognitive, try to make it at 20% maybe. Okay, perhaps maybe because your negativity probably today is at 15 or something like that. Okay, so it changes every day, but try to make your engagement as maximum as possible, because we totally understand times are difficult, okay, times are hard, so sometimes our negativity might be a little bit high. So in order for your motivation to go up, your engagement must go up too. So these are the things I'm trying to remind you, yeah, in order for your motivation to go up. So you need to make sure your behavioral, emotional, and cognitive in terms of engagement goes up. So try to make friends or get closer with your classmates. Okay, if you feel like the subject is boring, so try to learn with your classmates, talk to them, okay, have discussions with them. Maybe go Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams with them. Okay, maybe you can have some dates, a dinner time with them, and have popcorns with them while learning or something. Make it fun, games and things. I don't know, okay, how you engage with your friends. So try to do that for a change, okay? Next slide. So this is where things will look more positive. So right now, just now you talked about your fears. So now, once you know and figure out what your fears are all about, so now you are more capable and know. Finally, you are going to figure out what you are capable of doing. Okay, so when you have understood yourself, yeah, okay, so I know what I'm afraid of, I know what I'm not capable of doing, what my fears are, so now you know what you can do, okay, what I am capable of. So try to figure that out, okay? You can share it with us here. If you don't feel like sharing, you can also do it on your own. But it's really actually very good. Try to do this at home, okay, on your own, during those times when you're alone also, yeah. It will actually sometimes bring you to different places, maybe a new job, yeah, a new thesis research, a new dream, a new goal. You know, sometimes you figure out your new capability, something that you know, oh, actually I am good at this. So sometimes you figure out your new gift. Actually, I'm good at painting. You didn't know before. But now that you've learned a new skill, you're actually capable of doing this. So while you were on your down time, okay, when you had a very difficult time and then you spent time painting, blah, 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 figure out your fears and everything, now you find out that you are capable of doing some painting and things like that. So sometimes we figure out ourselves, you know. So these are the things that you can do. Yeah, if you are afraid or you're not ready to talk to a therapist, or if you're not willing to share with others how you feel. So these are some of the ways, yeah, you can do. If you don't feel like sharing just yet, okay? So, but, okay, do note that you can always talk to your lecturers, okay? You can always contact me and tell me any challenges that you are facing, okay? So keep on sharing, yeah? Nobody is telling me what they are facing, okay? Can we go to the next slide? Perhaps because I'm not teaching you, usually people do share with me what they are currently going through. So yeah, so this is what I'm all about. So all this while, that's what I do. I've been in the broadcasting industry, so I know all these kinds of problems with the technical issue. It happens all the time. Journalism, aviation, training and education. So I've been an English program trainer ever since I graduated. Okay, so a motivator and a trainer in English as well as neuro-linguistic programming with the aviation industry. Next. So do connect with me, tell me how I can help you. Yeah, if you feel like you need help or you want to further improve on something that you can work on, we can always work together. All right. So yes, I do want to listen from you. I love to interact. Any questions from your side? I really miss listening to students' voices.
Okay, so now the session is open for sharing. So you guys have any question you can ask. Okay, one shall could you mute your mic because the echo is coming in.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So I'll read the question. Paul, thank you very much for the valuable insight into the topic. And I'm sure we have taken away something from it. So let's read what question we have. Okay, so Ruzina Muzaffar asked, how is motivation different than engagement?
Okay, so like I said just now, engagement leads to motivation. So you will first need to engage, okay, those types of engagement that I explained just now, and that will further lead to motivation. Yes.
Okay, so somebody else asked, okay, so somebody else asked, does engagement affect the motivation level?
Yes, in a lot of studies, yeah, I've also shared a slide where there are a lot of studies, yeah, it has shown that the more you engage, okay, the higher your motivation is. So that's why it's very important for you to engage with your classmates, your lecturers, as well as your resources and your study materials. That's why when it comes to remote learning, distance learning, and online learning, students are demotivated because there are less engagement. So lecturers like me and others, they have to make it more engaging. Thus, the activities have to be very engaging.
So you're basically saying, so the motivation level of the lecturer affects the student motivation?
Yes, but it works hand in hand. The students have to be motivated as well. It cannot be solely, for example, if I feel like I'm talking to the wall, of course I will be demotivated. Yeah, so the students have to be talking to me as well. It has to be there has to be a sense of engagement. So when I'm talking and teaching, students have to be asking me questions, and they have to be telling and giving me a response or feedback.
So we have another question coming in. Let's read it. Okay, so Nurun Nisa Ismail asks, I tend to feel demotivated when it comes to hectic weeks. The more tasks and classes to attend, the more I feel burnout and tired. Perhaps do you have any tips to share?
Yeah, so hectic week is especially the last few weeks of the semester. The last few weeks will be the most hectic weeks for me, especially as a lecturer. So I can totally relate with the students. So a few tips I would like to share is we have to make sure that we don't procrastinate. Have a proper plan for yourself. So that means we have to make sure that we don't stack up all of our assignments. Yeah, make sure they are all properly planned. Yeah.
Okay, I hope this answers Nisa's question. I hope Nisa feels more motivated now. I have a question personally. These days, like for the past 2 semesters, I'm like, although I'm sitting on my assignment, I'm having trouble writing anything when it comes to doing my assignment. I tend to rely more on my classmate for help to get me through that thing. But also, I don't know if it's the lack of motivation or what it is, but my quality of work is also affected. I tend to submit my assignment pretty late. So do you have any tip like how to overcome that, or do you have any say to that?
I guess when it comes to quality, it varies. For me, for example, I like to work when it comes to, I like to go and have a fresh eye. So I like to work on things and look at it a lot of times. So for example, let's say I have a deadline in a week's time. So I will dedicate a few days on that particular assignment, but I will do it little by little. So let's say, for example, let's say this particular slide. I will dedicate 3 days for this particular slide, but I will do it like very slow. So day one, I will do only a quarter of the slide, and then day two, I will only do half of the slide, and day three, I will finish the slide. So by day three, I will look at it from the fresh eye. That means I will make sure the quality is there, nothing is wrong, like any mistakes or whatsoever. And then I will call one person that haven't seen anything since day one. That means a fresh eye. So try to comment on my work. So that means there's no bias and they haven't seen my work from the very start. So what do you think about it? So there must be some feedback. They will say, oh, I think it will be better if it's like that, like this. So there will be one particular feedback that they will say about it. And I will take that into account. I like it that way.
Sometimes it's just like, I don't know if the COVID has gotten us like I don't know, technically I'm feeling so exhausted. Like I don't know what to do, how to overcome that. Hopefully next year I'm going to be a final year student, so I'm hoping that I should get over this whatever zone or dilemma I am in. So we have another question, and Zara has asked, it has been few months now that I feel quite disconnected from learning, and although I am learning, I feel that I'm not really learning.
Okay, so for that particular question and also Nurun Nisa question, can you go to my last slide?
Last slide.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so when you feel like you're learning, but you're not really learning and you feel like you're having a burnout, okay, so usually it's because you have too much on your mind and you have self-doubt. Okay, I have a lot of my students, they always apologize to me before they say something. For example, teacher or madam, I apologize for my bad English, but blah 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 blah. But they haven't even done anything yet. They have apologized beforehand. That means that shows that they are self-doubting themselves. So I told my students, the only time that you have to apologize to me is if you have done something wrong. That means you are missing my classes, or you haven't submitted your work on time, or you copy and paste your work, you plagiarize something. Okay, but if, let's say, for example, we are doing something in class and you've said something wrong, that is the process of learning. Even I do that sometimes, and we are all learning. So to me, that is fine, because that is what learning process is supposed to function. That's how it functions. So you're not supposed to apologize for that. So that's how we learn. We minimize our self-doubt, because the moment you doubt yourself, that's how our motivation goes down. And when our motivation goes down, that's how burnout slowly creeps out on you. So when you feel burnt out and tired because you think too much. So this is what Nurunisa and all of us, including myself, as well as just now your friend asked just now the question. Yeah, this is what we can do. So a pick inside my mind, sometimes when we're thinking too much, this is what an activity that we can also do. Write down all our thoughts, and then when we don't feel like sharing, we can just write it and think about it ourselves and reflect. Yeah, like, is it really true, or is it just us overthinking ourselves? I do that sometimes. I'm guilty of it as well. Yes. But the problem is, when we do that, we are limiting ourselves of some success that is about to happen to us. Yes. So
Okay.
Yes. So this can help all of you too. So try to do this as well at home.
So now I hope Zara can overcome that self-doubt that she is in. I'm sure she's learning brilliantly.
Yes, please don't doubt yourself.
So we have another question coming in from Ruzina Muzaffar. She has a lot to ask. Retention of motivation and engagement is a challenge on many levels. How well the lifestyle should be maintained in order to keep it going. So she's saying how well the lifestyle should be maintained in order to keep it going.
That depends on a lot of different people, yeah, because different people have different levels of coping, your coping strategies, and how much you, on your own personal level, can, for example, tolerate stress. So, for example, my difficulty might seem easy for you, or might seem more difficult for you, and your difficulty might seem easy or difficult for me. It's how you deal with and how I deal with difficulty is very different for each of us. So we cannot, that's why we can't compare. Yeah. So in order to keep going, that's why we must always take out all those doubt that we have and throw it out, just like what I did in this particular slide. Because sometimes some of us have more doubts than others, and some of us are more confident, but we don't know, you see, because some people appear more confident, but you have no idea about their self-doubts that they have inside. So we don't know because people have, it's all inside your mind. You see, you can't see it. So this is what you can do. If you're not comfortable sharing, you can always share it with yourself. Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question, Rosina Muzaffar. We have another question coming in from Noor Najiha. Okay, so she asked how to deal with other people who don't know how to do distance learning and how it works. They always consider that we are doing something not important while actually we are doing our homework or task or assignment. This might lead to distraction or last minute work.
Yes, this is what I forgot to touch about. Yeah, one thing that people always forget about online learning is social commitment. Thanks for bringing this up, Nur Najiha. Nur Najiha, this is something that I forgot to touch. One thing about online learning and distance learning is that the thing that when we don't live on campus, and once we live with our parents or afar from campus, is that we have commitments, other commitments. So we have other commitments like family commitments and social commitments, you see? So there are things to juggle. So that's why I said you or we, all of us, will have more skills later on, because we are right now having to learn things that later on will help us in real life, like real life skills. Later when you work, this is how it's going to be like. Later when you have kids, when you have your husband and you have your parents-in-laws, and you have to have your work, and you have if you want to further your studies, this is what life is going to be like. So if you want to have a business with you, this is real life. So like I said, students these days, it's just what do we call a sticker. You are considered as student, but actually some of you are already starting your business. You are already selling some things. You're already earning some money. You are already helping your parents, doing a lot of commitments and earning for your parents money and helping them a lot of things at home. So you are already having all those skills of juggling things, you see. So those skills are really important for you to help further later on if you think about whether I should further my studies later on, or should I continue with my career. What do I want to do with my life? It's easier for you to juggle with anything else you want in life. It's either you want it or you don't want it. The choice is in your hand. It's either you want it or you don't want it. That's all. But that's how things really work, because it's either people want it or they don't want it. It's either they can carry it or they can't. Because like I said, we have so many commitments. And our mental health is very important, you see, because sometimes we can carry it, but like I said, our health is the most important thing. If you can carry everything, but you are not healthy, what's the purpose? You have to remember you are the most important thing. If you cannot take care of yourself, you cannot take care of others. So you have to make sure you are okay first. Like I said, the first thing just now when I first started, you are the most important thing. So like I said, don't be selfish, but you are the most important thing first, and then you can help others. So make sure your mental health is okay, and then you can help others. But make sure you need to learn how to juggle everything. And then, honey, believe me, you can do anything. Because like I said, you are all learning about juggling every single thing right now. That's why I say it's not about degree students or master student or PhD. It's like literally quite the same, because distance learning teaches students all about the real world skills, you see. They are juggling. real world tasks, real world skills that employers were doubting when I asked them. I think you should really think about doing this from home. And then they were saying, no, it's not possible, honey, it is. Oh my God.
Okay, I guess Nur Najiha answer question is answered. I hope she can now manage her work and she can tell others that she is committed to something else. Some of my friends they were like the other day they were saying that my parents think that I'm already like always online because they think that he's playing games online. Meanwhile, he's studying and he's attending classes. So, what should a student like that do to overcome that sort of feelings? Like, I mean, explaining to your parents and all these things can be exhausting. But how to deal with that mentally? Like,
I don't understand. I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that?
okay, so what I was saying that my friend was saying the other day that although he's on computer, he's attending his classes and everything, but his parents think that he's probably online doing games instead of studying. So how to sort of deal with those sort of questions?
I see. So those are just trust issues, yeah, because we do have those kinds as well. So it's normal because you see, when as an educator, I also have trust issue because we do have students. Let's say, for example, they attend classes, but they're actually sleeping because you're turning off your audio and your video, and God knows where you are. So sometimes you're probably off somewhere because you're not submitting your assignments, you're not interacting with me, you're not engaging. So that means you're not present. So sometimes as parents, of course, you will have those trust issues as well. But if you are there at the same house, of course, you can know what your children really does, right? For example, if they are engaging in the classroom. So I'm sure for example, that person can prove to the parents that for example, with their results or how they're being engaging in classes. Okay, sometimes results doesn't show how engaging you are, but perhaps when you speak in class, okay, when you're talking to your lecturers, then it can show that you are in fact being engaging in classes. So it shows. Yeah, it definitely shows. Like, for example, in my classes, I can definitely know which students are engaging and which students are the ones who are in the middle. Okay, I have middle performers. That means not performers in terms of results, yeah, because I don't really look at students' results. I just look at how engaging they are. So, for example, those who talk a lot in class, those who are the middle ones, that means they are shy but not so shy, and those who are quite shy, that means they need to be probed, that they need to be prompted. That means that I need to call their names. So there are a few in my classes, okay, where I need to call their names. But over time, they will slowly be more open to speaking. Yeah, but it will take time. Yeah, but students overall, once they are comfortable speaking, and if I allow them to make mistakes, they are open to speaking. So I really like it when my students speak in class. So overall, I see a lot of engagement. So I like that.
Sometimes it is like the students are shy and then they're like they want to speak but then they don't want to speak.
Yeah, at first, yes. During the first few classes, yes. but you always have to encourage them early on, from the beginning, always from the beginning.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, like, a few of my friends, they have been saying that it's okay la, first few weeks no study, no classes, no need teacher do introduction, all that thing. So, but I find that um, with the first few weeks, like the first 2 3 classes, it's like a must. You know, you connect with the lecturer on a personal level, sort of. Do you
Yes.
think that is really the case?
Yes, the first few classes, I actually really enjoyed the first few classes, because the first few classes is when I play games with my students. So the first few classes is when I get to know my students on a personal level, because the first few classes, not everyone will enroll yet. Yeah, not everyone is enrolled for that particular subject yet. So I need to know my students first, like how is their literacy level, what kind of material should I use for this class, so I need to know them. How can I help them improve, blah blah blah. So I need to get to know them on a personal level. So these are the like, this is the perfect time for me to talk to them, get to know them. So first few classes, like I said, I will share with them the outline, how is the semester going to be like. So the overall planning, this is the time where I will tell them, okay, week 7 is going to be your submission of blah blah blah, week blah 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 is going to be so I will already get them to like have a overall view of what their semester is going to be like. But I do let them know perhaps there's going to be a little bit of changes, okay? But overall, we are going to stick to that particular plan.
Okay, we have another question coming in. So it's from Putri. She's saying that learning online has made many students less motivated, probably due to the lack of study equipment, such as no laptop or lack of internet connection. Can you give any tips on how to always stay motivated?
That's normal. Like some of my students, they don't even have laptop. Some of my students, they only have their telephone, yeah, their handphones with them. So learning online has made many students less motivated. Very true, because I do have a few students from rural areas, so they only have their handphones with them. Okay, so it's doable. Believe me, it's difficult, yeah, for both the lecturers and them, because sometimes I have to contact them and they have to contact me, so it's very difficult. But it's doable. It's very, very doable. Okay, but true, lack of internet connection. So sometimes I get disconnected with them. So I will just use WhatsApp video call with them. So tips for how to always get motivated, I will just usually use WhatsApp video call with them. And then always motivated, it's just usually, like I said, make it fun, make it brief. That means short, simple. That means just the most important ones. Don't make it difficult for both the lecturer and the students. That means just the most important parts. That means nothing over the top, just basic.
Okay, so Noor Najira asked again. She's saying, do you think it's okay not to excel in public speaking because not everyone is confident of being in front of people? Is that still a demand requirement among employer nowadays?
It depends on what kind of profession you want to go for. Okay, so usually different people have different strengths. So look at your own strength. You don't have to be good in public speaking, honestly. Okay, because yes, correct, not everyone is confident speaking in front of people. It takes different people to be what they like what kind, like for example me, when I first started, I don't like to speak in public. I like to write first, so I started off writing. So my first career was writing. So everything had to do with writing, writing magazines, writing in websites, writing in newspapers. So I started off in writing because at first I didn't have that particular confidence as well. But then maybe because after some time I'm tired of writing, yeah. So then I change, like I said, after burnout and things, I do all of those writing, minimizing your self-doubt and things. What are you afraid of? What is your strength? So your strength change over time. People change. So sometimes you don't know your strength change, your weakness change. You know, sometimes you get bored of certain things. So it's all about you. Like I said, Najia, it's all about you. Sometimes you change. So it's all about you, Najia. Don't worry about others or something. It's all about you. There's a lot of things to do out there. It's all about your strength. Just figure out your strength. There's a lot of things to do out there. You just have to figure out your strength.
Okay, I hope that answers Putri and Najina's questions.
Yes.
Okay. It seems like we have covered all the questions.
Can I answer just one thing? Is that still a demanded requirement? If she wants to work, like there's a lot of things like what we call that backstage, you know, a lot of things, especially like technical things behind. Yeah, a lot of things actually they get paid more. Yes, you know, everything like with technical crew, they get paid more. So it depends. If you know you're good at technical things, then be good at it, woman. Then you will get paid more in that particular area. Just be good and be an expert in that particular field. People will seek for you. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no, it's perfectly fine. It's good that we are having an engaging session and everybody is are getting over their dilemmas and their queries. This is what this whole entire webinar was for. Okay, so people are saying thank you for answering my question.
Welcome.
So perhaps is there anything else that you would like to add before we conclude the session?
Not yet for now. I would just like to interact with more people and perhaps you if you have more questions. I really like to talk to my students, honestly. I miss them already. How about
my lecturer saying like, open your cameras, I want to see your faces. I have been like missing.
Yes, I miss them. I miss you.
Sometimes we're not in the condition to open our cameras because
yes.
the background.
Open your cameras. 27. 21 of you. I want to take pictures with all of you.
Yes, we can enable all the camera openers. So is there anything else you would like to add?
So if you have any questions, for example, if you need help with public speaking or English literacy, I can always help you with that. Do contact me, yeah, and connect with me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I hope to hear from you all soon. Make sure to take care of your mental health, yeah. Don't forget, that's very important.
I'll share your details on the chat group so that everybody can get connected with you out there.
Yes. So don't forget this challenge for all of you. That's like
Yes, I have already written my fear.
Yes.
Okay, so now we have come to the end of this session. I would like to thank everyone who attended this webinar. They're from all over the world, from the Philippines, India, and Pakistan, and also they're from Malaysia, and also to the DRB High-Com University of Automotive Malaysia students. Thank you for joining us and making this webinar a success. And I also want to thank our guest speaker, Puan Calvin Sazali, for pestering us with your humble presence. We are so glad that you're here and you privilege us with your presence, and provided us with such an enriching presentation. And I hope we have gained something from this presentation, because at least I have. Now I have written my biggest fear and I'll try to overcome that. So thank you all again. Thank you for coming in, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye. Should we have a photo session? You want to click pictures? You can turn on your camera.
Yay, I can see everyone now.
You can see. Let's take a photo.
So I can see the organizing team. Nurun, can I see Nurun? Who's Nurun and who's Putri? Who recited the Dua just now?
No, Akmal.
Yes, where is he? Najiha, where's Najiha?
Okay, okay. My lecturer, Madam Roshni, sorry.
Assalamualaikum.
Wait, madam, I will enable your mic.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum, Puan Shazin.
Waalaikumsalam. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
How's the semester for you? Was it havoc and chaos like mine?
Almost 1 year with online, so become better. For me, I'm not sure about my students, but for me, by hope by group, we need to focus, right? So try to make a class simple, not too heavy, deliver to them with very simple words. Jangan terlalu bombastic sangat words yang kita nak pakai supaya dia lebih senang nak exam.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, okay. Because mine was like, kita orang macam dah 2 tahun, dah nak 3 tahun. So dalam macam 300 students, agak macam pening juga lah mula-mula tu, ya Allah.
Kan kalau even 30 kita pening sebab kita tak tengok, we are not sure siapa yang dengar, betul dengar dan siapa yang tak mendengar ataupun just hadir without bagi perhatian. We don't know, right?
Betul, kadang-kadang ada yang turn on, lepas tu turn off, lepas tu tak tahu lari pergi mana. Itulah, lepas tu kena buat, okay, semua kena wajib turn on, kena wajib ada kat depan. Yes, macam-macam. Yes, betul, faham sangat. Ya Allah, ya Nabi, ya Rasul.
Kena tahu banyak teknik lah virtual learning kan. Kalau line student tak okay pun kita nak paksa dia on camera pun tak boleh juga.
Exactly.
Kan nanti dia stress.
Ya, lagi-lagi kalau rural area, Sabah Sarawak, ya Allah, ya
We try our best.
Betul.
So thanks. Terima kasih banyak-banyak bagi Pak Kristi sebab persediaan Puan untuk bersama dengan pelajar kami bagi subjek mereka iaitu management skill seminar. So they need to manage one seminar. So thanks for be part of us lah untuk hari ini.
Sama-sama. Moga semua kita akan dipermudahkan nanti.
InsyaAllah. Dan boleh still kata untuk next ada lagi projek yang sesuai, kita boleh panggil lagi lah.
Amin, insyaAllah. Moga murah rezeki.
Nanti saya ambil nombor contact point daripada student.
Okey, terima kasih banyak-banyak.
Okay, dah ambil dah gambar.
Okay, we're taking the photo now.
Somebody raised up his hand.
Yeah. Maybe ada soalan nak tanya?
Yeah, somebody has a question, yeah?
Hello, I'm Dr. Tariq from Morocco, National School of Applied Science. First of all, I want to thank you for this presentation, and I hope you will enjoy with us if you want a perfect collaboration between Malaysia's university and Moroccan university. So big thanks for you for this presentation, and Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Oh, they share with ya.
Thank you, Tariq.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for being here.
So I guess it's time to say goodbye then. Thank you, Puan, Shani, Sazali.
So Puan nama siapa? Saya lupa nak tanya.
Nama siapa lecturer tu?
Yes.
Oh, saya Rosi.